All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Women's Growth Series. Today, we are talking all things AMP, which is our acronym for the AIME Mentorship Program. So I am joined by Ben Lavender, one of our mentors, and Flavia Benson, one of our mentees. And we really just wanted to have a conversation around what AMP, if I, use that moving forward, it does stand for the AIM Mentorship Program, but what AMP means, how each of them got involved, and kind of what the next steps are just in their relationship as a mentor and mentee pair. So, Ben, I'll let you go first if you want to introduce yourself, and then Flavia will move to you, and then we'll get started with some questions. So, Ben, if you could introduce yourself to our crew.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you very, very much for having me, Candace, and including me as part of the mentorship program. I genuinely enjoy it, but I'm sure we'll get into all that in a little bit. So, to introduce myself, my name is Ben Lavender. I go by New York's favorite British mortgage broker. At this point, I'm just my mom's favorite, and then hopefully we'll add a few more people. And I work at Madison Mortgage here in New York, and I love what I do, and I love working with AIM. So yeah, that's about it.
Amazing. Well, thanks for joining us. Flavia, if you could introduce
Absolutely.
yourself to.
Sure. So my name is Flavia Benson. I'm broker owner of Dovetail Mortgage. I started back in the broker world very recently. We received our license to operate here in Massachusetts under Division of Banks back in May of 2021, so just a few months ago. And I wanted to be a part of the AMP program because I was really new in the broker world. And having been a part of the Spark Leadership Academy and also a recipient of Spark, I got my first taste of being mentored through the Spark Leadership Academy. And that was just such an incredible experience for me because I really didn't know where to go or who to talk to. And then all of a sudden, all of this information is in front of me by seasoned veterans from the industry that have been brokers for quite some time, giving out all this amazing information. And then as part of Spark, I heard about the AMP program and I'm like, sign me up. Where do I sign up? I need to do this immediately. Just because I had gotten that taste of the mentorship and having the ability of having one-on-one conversations really just hit the spark for me. No pun intended, but it makes total sense to get on board and really be able to connect with someone that I could, relate to, ask questions. And that's why I wanted to really become a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, are so glad that you're part of it and an active participant in, a new program, back-to-back new programs for you, Spark and AMP, but that you're able to kind of grow and have a focused strategy as you move forward in your first year as broker owner. So, Ben, what drew you over to the AMP side of things and kind of sparked your interest in being a mentor?
So it's really quite simple. It's a few factors, but it really just comes down to giving back and really being part of the community. So there are two aspects to that, because from the beginning of my career, I had a mentor. To this day, I still have mentor or multiple mentors of my own. And I can say with 100% certainty that I would not be where I am today without that mentorship and without that guidance. Especially, the mortgage business is one of the reasons why I think we all love it so much, is because there's no such thing as a boring day. There are so many aspects to this business, whether it's like operations, it's lead generation, or just simple like time management and work-life balance, right? So, to figure all that stuff out on your own is difficult to do. So for me, that was really the key. It was an opportunity for me to give back, and a lot of the books that I read in my throughout my career, and we're all into the self-help, we all read and all that, and a lot of the books actually that I read is, one of the rules was always give back when you can, right? If you've been mentored, it's now your responsibility as someone who benefited from being mentored to do the same for someone else, to bring them up and give them maybe not an opportunity, but give them the guidance, give them, or you could even look at it as a cheat code or a shortcut, right? So that's reason number one. Reason number two is far more obvious. AIM has done so much for me And for Madison Mortgage and my career and us as a whole company, if me giving back and becoming a mentor for just half an hour every couple of weeks, it's a very small but significant way of giving back to the community. And I didn't hesitate. I got an email from you, Candace, and it's like, Ben, can you mentor? And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then I think I got another one. It was like, Ben, can you take on another one? I'm like, yeah, let's do another one. So it's just, like I said, it's an opportunity to give back. And I love the AIME community and the broker community. So that's really what it came down to for me. And I'm happy to give back and to keep giving back any way I can.
Well, thank you for A, taking on one mentee, and then B, taking on another, and your willingness to help, but to also have the knowledge to see that it will matter well beyond, this 1 year commitment, that your insight and the things that you've learned up to this point will matter, and they have value because you're able to share that with somebody else, and share the mistakes made along the way or the successes. One of the things that we said when we were starting Spark is that our goal was to help brokers go further faster, and I think having one-on-one relationships and being able to share the ins and outs of businesses does help one another go further faster, and hopefully with a lot less bruises along the way. So I know that you both just had one of your first one-on-one sessions, and just wanted to hear how that went and what you learned. So Flavia, I'm going to start with you as the mentee. How did that experience go? And then Ben, we'll come over to you in just a minute.
Perfect. First of all, I have to thank Ben for really stepping up and doing the right thing and paying it back. I thank you from the bottom of my heart because I'm one of those recipients of this goodwill. So thank you. And you, before I get into our session, I just wanted to say it really is all about the community. AIME has been unbelievable through these programs and really making you feel a part of something that's larger than yourself. And it's getting, everyone together, building relationships, building trust, building community, and really helping each other out as we're, getting started, or even if we're a veteran or been in the industry for a while, when you have to put out questions out there. It's been an incredible opportunity to be a part of this community. And I hope that I can pay that back too when the time comes, when I'm ready to be a mentor for somebody else. But to get to our session, it was really incredible. We kind of got right down to it. I really enjoyed hearing about Ben's background, and how he also transitioned from being in retail and then going into wholesale. For me, that was really kind of spot on to my experience, even though I've been gone from the industry for quite some time. But it really helped me to understand, okay, he's doing really well. He's been growing in volume and sales, and I know there's so much that I can learn. So it was incredible. We got right into it, talking about not only things that he does in terms of marketing, but how we work with lenders, how we work with providing service to our borrowers and referral partners, things that work for him. Gosh, I think I have so many questions. I was diligently taking a lot of notes on all of these things. And
you really were. Yeah.
Right. And we have another session this Thursday. So we've kind of done a bi-weekly thing, and I already have the topics ready to discuss it, but it was really great. He listened to my questions, answered my questions, gave me a lot of insight, some really good advice. And like I said, I took a lot of diligent notes. I'm a good student.
The whole session was really this. Okay. Next. Okay. Yeah, you're an avid note taker, that's for sure. I don't know if Flavia, did you have more that you wanted to add, or should I?
No. Please, go ahead.
Yeah. So obviously, thank you for the kind words. And truth be told, is that to me, I see the same thing in you, right? You were just full gung ho. Okay, how do I do this? What's the best way to practice that? And something as mentors that we have to be aware of as well is that, not everyone we're not trying to copy and paste our business model. Obviously, we want to share the insights and what works for us, but we're all in different markets. Even like I know other companies or other loan offices in New York like me, but they operate differently because they're all the way upstate. So it's just, again, it's an opportunity to kind of share what we know, but not be like, you have to do it my way. or the highway, because that would be a little bit crazy. But the session itself, I personally like really enjoyed it. I know, Flavia, you're going to do absolutely amazing. You're already doing amazing. I mean, you came out of Spark right into mentorship. Your volume is already climbing. You've hired, all these people. So what's really cool is that this is just the beginning for you, right? It's so early. I'm just thinking, like, if we're doing this every 2 weeks and you're doing all these other things that you're talking about, and forget a year from now, I'm curious to see where you're going to be in like 3-4 months. And that's part of mentorship as well, right? Is like, the way that I've always seen it is that it's kind of like a shortcut to getting somewhere. Instead of it taking you 3-5 years to get somewhere, someone treats you or teaches you the little hacks and you implement it. And of course, you're always going to have people who kind of like to learn the hard way. You could talk about even buyers these days who bid $50,000 below the asking price, going $50,000 above the asking price. And, they're insistent. And what do we say? The market will teach them. And sometimes the business has to teach us these lessons regardless of the mentorship. But with that said, I really enjoyed it. And I know you're going to do absolutely fantastic. I'm excited for you. It's going to be great.
You. That's really kind. I appreciate it.
It's incredible. I think there's so much wisdom too in being able to, from the mentee side, recognize that you don't know what you don't know sometimes. And so when we ask the question to say, hey, if you want to be involved and get a mentor, what would you like to grow in? What do you think you're good at now, and where do you want to grow? And the wisdom to know that you don't know everything yet, and that there's someone who can kind of lead you along that path. And then as a mentor, I'm sure, Ben, that you will learn things from your multitude of mentees and how things are changing. I mean, this is an incredibly dynamic industry. And so how you would have mentored maybe 5 years ago is very different than how you'll mentor today, and probably different than how you'll mentor a year from now, just as things change, as you gather experience. And how incredible it is to, again, just coming back to that word of leveraging, to leverage what you've learned to the benefit of somebody else is just the hallmark, I think, of a mentor-mentee relationship. And then it kind of has that ripple effect, because with the things, Flavia, that you're learning, you're then able to turn around and train your new employees, who will then hopefully be so confident and so secure in what they're doing that they can go on and train other people into the industry. And it just keeps the circle moving in such a positive way. So I'm excited, and I'm wishing I could be part of your sessions. Like, I want to know what's going on behind the scenes. It sounds really neat. And, as you've kind of gotten that first session in, and, as the AIME team, we like to support you with that monthly email to say, hey, if you're not sure what to talk about, or if you haven't gotten to this yet, we'd like to provide information for you to use. But if you're already working with your mentor on something else, go for it. But again, as you've had your first meeting and kind of looking at the next few months, what do you hope to get out of AMP as a whole? And Flavia, we'll start with you.
Sure. So as a whole, I've really gone into this whole getting back into the broker world, or getting into the broker world, as if I know absolutely nothing. So I wanted to be really a blank slate, so that I, not bring some, bad habits or things that probably aren't going to work, or even from prior industries that I've been in. And so being part again of the Spark Leadership Academy, and now something like this, I'm looking as being someone who is open, teachable, and really actively listening to things that are going to make sense for me to bring into my own, space. And from there, develop the best practices or processes or whatever it is with my team, so that they can be successful. So that's the first thing that I wanted to look at as I'm learning. But most importantly is to continue to learn from my peers, not just with Ben, but also through AIME and the other networks, the Women's Mortgage Network, all of these tools that we have, that you can ask questions and you can continue to have some of that involvement. One thing that was really cool and you and I talked about this then too, about Fuse. I see now with even the people in the other networks that we're in on Facebook and things like that, who's going to Fuse? People from the Spark Leadership Academy from my class who are going, and we're getting so excited to actually get to know each other in person because we've been supporting each other throughout this. And even within that community, some of us were already over here. Well, I was starting over here. So there's all this other mentorship going on there too. So as I grow with Ben and AMP, I'm hoping that the way we connect and what I get from him, I can also share with those other groups and with my other, peers and colleagues that I've already gotten to know for the past few months. And I really hope that I can pass on some of that, mentor-mentee relationship, through different forums. So that's my goal. And again, I'm an open slate. A blank slate, open book. I'm willing and ready to learn anything and everything that's going to make me successful, make my team successful, and make the broker world and channel successful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, Ben, what about you? What are you hoping to get out of AMP in the long term?
So for me, it's kind of really the same thing, right? It's about being part of the community and giving back. It's something that I personally enjoy. Like I was telling Flavia when we had our last session, like this isn't work for me. This is fun. If anything, I'm not looking to get anything out of it other than, to hear myself talk and boost my own ego. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's genuinely enjoyable to help someone and help grow the community. And like to bring up something like you just mentioned, Flavia, like Fuse it's really such a great event. I mean, of course we've got all the great speakers and all the usual jazz, but what has really happened, and I know that I speak for a lot of people when I say this, is that a lot of the BAB community has become genuinely like people's best friends, right? We're not just like people that know each other through the mortgage business. We've become close where we see each other outside of these events. We talk every day. We're in the same 1 to 500 Facebook groups, constantly helping each other grow, whether it's like guideline knowledge or it's sales stuff. So like for me, one of the key things and why I think people are attracted to coming to an event like Fuse is because it's not just that you meet like-minded people, you meet people that get you, right? Those of us that work in the mortgage business on a day-to-day business know how, the average person does not really relate to what we do because it's so multifaceted and so complex, that it's really, really nice to be able to connect with people who get us, right? So to me, being, part of AMP, I just love saying AMP. Being part of AMP is, it really just amplifies that feeling for me of giving back and, going to things like Fuse and giving back to the community. So it's a small thing. And look, I know I'm not saving lives here or anything like that, but if I can give back a small slither or in a small way, I'm very happy to do that. And I know for a fact that the majority of the community, the BAB community, feels the same way, right? Because before the Brokers of Better Group, before AIME, we were just scattered, right? You've got people in small shops, lone wolf LOs. You've got these big companies with 100, 200 plus employees. It's something that's really united everyone, and we've come together to conquer the mortgage business, so to speak. So, for that, I'm grateful, and again, I know that everyone who's part of it absolutely loves it too.
Definitely. I like what you were saying, though, as far as the community component. We say all the time, brokers are better, and brokers are better together, period.
Yeah.
And this is, an extension of that. And in that way, when we opened applications, we had such an overwhelming amount of saying, hey, I want to be mentored. And I think that's a great position to be in, to recognize that there's a gap in knowledge or that there's a way to do better and be lifelong learners. And I think brokers especially are learners. You want to be the best at your craft, and this program offers that. And so we've actually closed our mentee application for right now, just as we continue with this kind of phase 1. But after Fuse this year, Fuse 2021, will be open to have more mentees available so we can get the best mentor match moving forward. And so if anyone is interested in becoming a mentor or becoming a mentee, we do have our website up and running, and we can link it here. We'd love to have you. And it's an incredible relationship that ultimately impacts families, and memories. People will get to call their home home because of the work that you're doing behind the scenes, and learning your business and sharing that with others. So thank you both so much for being a part of it, for trying something new, both with one another, but then also with AIME, as we seek to, really improve the lives of brokers and of consumers just all across the board. I personally am excited to see both of you at Fuse in just a few short weeks. I can't believe September is almost here and around the corner, but I'm really, really excited to see you guys.
Likewise.
It's going to be the best. So for those watching, if you want to catch up on past women's growth series or more AIME initiatives, you can see Flavia and other videos. Ben has some trainings. Please go check out our AIME YouTube channel. We save all of these. We make them accessible, again, so you can become that lifelong learner and learn something new and share it with team members, or if you already have a mentor-mentee relationship going on. So definitely check us out over there. And then make sure to tune in next week for another women's growth series. We are so excited to have had Flavia and Ben. Thank you both so much for A, what you're doing in your own communities, but B, how you're serving one another within AMP. And we're just so grateful to have you. So thanks for joining us today, y'all. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
See you in 6 weeks.
See you
soon. Then I'll see you Thursday.
Yeah. Yes, you will.
Can I come? Oh, all right. Thank y'all.